Hi, everybody. I'm Ross the Boss, and I want to talk sports with you, Cowboy. We have a great day of sports going on. We got basketball. We'll even talk about it. I know it's August, but we'll talk about it. We got fantasy football. Ask me questions about keepers, dynasty leagues, who you should keep, who you should get rid of. If you're in a draft, I can give you hints. We'll talk about it a little later in the show. If we have time, I'm going to do a mock draft, at least for the first round, to tell you guys who to take. Please, fantasy football is in full swing right now. Let's talk about it. We'll talk a little baseball. We'll talk NFL. We'll talk about everything. Ask me questions. Go on the YouTube channel and ask me questions. Or if you want to call in, give the guts to come on and see Ross the Boss in action. Go to my website, call MFSN, call MFSN.com, and you can come on and we can see your face and you ask me a question personally about fantasy football, about baseball, about anything you want. I'm a sports genius, as you know. So let's talk about what's going crazy right now is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, has COVID for the second time. Second time. So they interviewed him, and he said he's not getting the shot. He's going to talk to his doctors, and he's going to talk to his family, and he'll think about it. Listen, dude, you've got COVID twice. You should get the shot. There's a lot of stuff going into your body anyway. Who knows when you eat, when you drink, who knows what's going to your body, but you should get the shot. And if he's playing in a game and he's not vaccinated and he gives COVID to everybody else and the team has to forfeit, the whole team loses their salary for that game. So there's a lot of lives at stake here, Mr. Jackson. I hope you're for real. But what I'm saying is this: get the shot. Go to your doctor's going to say, get the shot. Your friends are going to say, get the shot. Get the shot. It's not, nothing's going to change. Get the Johnson & Johnson shot. It's like a flu shot. Your DNA is not going to change. You're not going to grow another arm. You're not going to, you'll be fine. Again, I just don't know why he's, if I got COVID twice, I'll be so quick getting the shot to make your head spin. I just don't understand the whole philosophy on that. If you want to comment about it and ask me, I'll be happy to ask you, come on and ask me, come on the air. Be happy to discuss it with you if you disagree with me. I just think it's a very selfish move in Lamar Jackson, but that's Ross the Boss talking. Another great NFL story. The only reason it's a story is because Bruce Arians, I think, is just bored and he has to go to the press and he has to be the big shot. So over the weekend, Tom Brady flew his private jet to Ohio for the induction of Peyton Manning becoming a Hall of Famer because they're friends. So he flew there on a Sunday. They didn't have practice. He didn't miss anything. So he spent the day there, came back to Tampa for practice. Supposedly they had a horrible practice yesterday. Bruce Arians, instead of keeping it like private, everybody has a bad practice, even Ross the Boss. But he had to come on during his press conference, say this was the worst offensive practice they ever had, and basically just tear to shreds their team. And basically he also said, like, if it was like, years ago, he would have had those guys running, but now he'll go to jail for it. What's he talking about? Go to jail. You can have the players go run more. They can run laps if they want. There's no rule against that. What's he on? And without Tom Brady, you wouldn't be winning a Super Bowl, Bruce Arians. You should be. I know you had a bad day at practice, but you have to make a public display about it. How dare you? You know what? Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, at MFSN. Ross the Big Boss on Twitter too. If you want to follow me, I always have some great stories going on. I do some great funny stuff with some great interviews actually coming up on MFSN. This week we have Norman Chad from World Series of Poker. We got some great comedians. We got athletes. We've been really killing it with interviews. So go check it out. So Bruce Arians, don't do interviews and mock your Tom Brady. Without Tom Brady, you'll be at home retired. Okay. So let the truth be out there. Luka Doncic, the point guard for the Dallas Mavericks, 5 years, $208 million. One of those big rookie, one of those deals. If he made like all pro NBA 2 years in a row, he would get this deal. He got the deal. He signed a huge deal with Dallas. Porzingis I don't think will be on the team next year. They don't get along. I mean, you might think, oh, they're both like Russian descent. They hate each other. There's no, I don't know if everybody knows that, but there's no love lost there. Porzingis wants to be the main guy. He's not the main guy. He's not actually. He's a bad guy. You know, he's not a model citizen. This guy Porzingis. So let's not pretend. But that all being said, I think Dallas is going to go out and get like another superstar to play with Luka. I know they don't really spend money for agency, but maybe they'll trade for it. We'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Talking about B-ball, let's talk about the Lakers. I mean, can they have an older roster? I mean, LeBron, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, even Anthony Davis he's aging up there. I mean, they have some other guys on the bench that are old too. They have an old team, and they want to compete for the championship next year. I don't think they can compete with the Nets. No way. The Nets are healthy. That's the team that's going to win the NBA championship. If Harden can stay healthy, Durant and Irving, if they all can stay healthy, you'll see the Nets winning the championship in Brooklyn. But that's an if they stay healthy. The Lakers are, I mean, I don't think the Lakers will get out of the West. I mean, I just think the team's old and they don't stay healthy. Davis hasn't stayed healthy in years. I mean, he always goes down. And LeBron gave up last year. I mean, it was like embarrassing. And then Carmelo Anthony, he'll be open. I mean, having Westbrook, I forgot they got Westbrook too. That's a big one. They got Westbrook and they have Dwight Howard. I mean, they improved their team, I think, but I just think they're old. You know, give me Golden State, give me Phoenix. I like those teams better, but we'll see what happens. I never count LeBron out. He's unbelievable. I just got to say this. The Olympics, you know, our women's teams played well. You know, our men's teams, basketball played well. You know, our baseball team came in second. That's fine. The men's track team was a total embarrassment. Even Carl Lewis said it, that we lost. I mean, Italy won the 4x400. They won a guy from Italy won the 100 meters. I mean, when is Italy all of a sudden a powerhouse at track? I mean, those guys are cooking pasta and pizza, and all of a sudden they're winning the Olympics. You know, it's an embarrassment. I mean, we couldn't even beat China in the 4x100. China. It's unbelievable. I mean, you know, and these guys walk around like they have huge egos and they're like the hottest thing in sports. They're not. They're not. They're losers. I mean, we did great in the shot put. We did great in those events and everything. But when it comes to like 100 meters, 200 meters, we did not do well. And when the United States is known for fast people, there's nobody fast there at all. Let's talk about Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks premieres tonight, August 10th, HBO. It's the Dallas Cowboys. And it's going to be good. I mean, you got Jerry Jones, who's going to be all over that show. He can't, if there's a camera and a microphone, Jerry Jones is there. There's no way he's not going to be speaking. Trust me. And you got Dak Prescott. I don't think we'll see Dak throw one football. I mean, his shoulder's messed up. I'm worried about him fantasy wise. If you're thinking about drafting Dak, it's a chance. And I like Dak. I think he'll have a huge year if he's healthy. I'm just worried about that shoulder. But that's a reason to watch the show, to see where Dak's at and see where his health's at. They give you, I mean, they have like 1 million cameras. I mean, the access you have is unbelievable. I mean, that show, I love that show. I know there's been some bad seasons. I know people complain about it, but I still love it. Last year was the Rams and Chargers. I still love that. I can't wait for Dallas. It premieres tonight, and I'm sure, you know, they'll have a lot of good characters. I'm sure Zeke Elliott would be on it. I'm sure Amari Cooper would be on it. I'm sure there'll be some rookies that we're cheering for to make the team. It happens every year, but I can't wait to talk about it next time I'm on, because that's a fun show to watch. Trey Lance. Let's talk about him for a little bit. Everybody's talking about Trey Lance. Oh, you know, this guy's the next big thing. He's not going to play. If he plays at all, it's going to be the end of the season. I mean, he's not the starting quarterback. So don't think he is. I know he's tearing it up. They'll have some plays for him, but if you're thinking about drafting Trey Lance in anything but the last round, you're out of your mind. Don't draft Trey Lance unless it's like the last round and it's a deep bench draft, because you'll be waiving him after the second week. because he's not going to see any playing time. You'll be picking up somebody that, that you'll pick up somebody that's a second string running back filling in for somebody. So trust me on that one. I just want to say everybody's talking about Trey Lance. Zach Wilson, the quarterback for the Jets. The New York press is destroying this kid. I feel bad for him. He's the rookie quarterback, BYU. Looks horrible in practice, but folks, it's practice. It's August. Be realistic. Give him a little time before you call him a bust. I mean, the New York press is already destroying this kid. The Jets are not a great team. I'm being nice. And they, in all seriousness, Zach Wilson, he was really, really good in college. Give him a couple months. Just don't throw him to the bus after 2 weeks of practice. I mean, it's unbelievable what the New York press do people. That's why players hate playing in New York. It's because of the press and the pressure they're under. And this kid's a young kid. He looks like he's like 15 years old if you ever look at him. I mean, his mom looks like she's in her 30s. She'd be like a model. I mean, she's beautiful. But I mean, it's unbelievable that it's down to this. 2 weeks into practice already, they're calling him a bust. I just don't ask. Deshaun Watson showed up to practice today. First time in 5 days. He shows up. I guess he's busy getting massages. But long story short, I don't know if he's going to play that. I mean, I'm curious to see what happens. If they're going to play him, if they're not going to play him, they'll write him on the bench. I don't know what's going to happen with him, with Deshaun Watson. That's a great question. I have no idea what's going to happen, but we'll see. Aaron Rodgers, he won't be playing 1 second of preseason football. So don't stress out about that. He'll play all season. But the Green Bay already said they're not going to probably play him at all. He doesn't need practice. Something came out great today in college football, the coaches poll. Let me just go over it with you real quick because I love college football. Any college football questions, I'd love to answer it to you. Remember, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter at MFSN. Just follow us. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. So number 1, big surprise, Bama. Number 2, Clemson. No shock. 3, Oklahoma. They supposed to have a great team this year. And remember, they're moving conferences in a couple years too, to SEC. Ohio State, 4. I mean, this is it's the same teams every year. 5. Guess who it is? It's Georgia. Oh my, what? Yeah, Georgia. And then we got Texas A&M, Notre Dame, Iowa State, North Carolina, and then rounding it, then the last one is Cincinnati. No surprises. I mean, I could have done this poll like last year and give you the same teams. I mean, I wish college football was more fair. I just think certain schools get the best players and the rest of the schools don't. And especially now paying the players. I mean, you can make money in college off endorsements and on contracts and shoes, all that stuff. All those players can make money on that. So this entices you to go to a bigger school anyway, like an Alabama, like a University of Miami, like USC. So all these players now can make money. And can you imagine being on the team and you're like an offensive lineman, no one, you just do your job, but your quarterback, who you protect, who gets all the credit for all the skills, he gets the money. He's eating caviar and lobster every night where you're sitting at home eating McDonald's. I mean, I don't think it's fair to all the players that are playing that some players make money and some don't. I just hope the players who make money take care of the ones that don't make money. I hope they have some integrity at all. I don't know if they do, but I'm Ross the Boss, and I have no idea if they do that. We'll find out this year. This is the first year it's happening. So, again, I think it's a huge mistake in college football. Let me know what you think. Write me a comment. I love talking sports. One more thing I saw in baseball a couple of days ago was Brock Holt. You're saying, who's Brock Holt? Well, he's a third baseman for the Texas Rangers, utility guy a long time ago in Boston Red Sox. It was a blowout game like it usually happens for the Rangers. Not a good team. They were losing, so they brought in Brock Holt to pitch. He threw a ball. I don't know how you can throw a ball this slow, but he did it, and it was a strike, 31 miles an hour. So if you have time, not right now, but later, just Google it.
Brock Holt slow pitch. I'm sure you'll find to be the first thing. It's fun to watch, and the announcers are pretty funny about it too. I got a kick out of it just because it's the slowest pitch like ever recorded, since they've been doing that since like the past 30 years. I mean, it's amazing. But I mean, just check it out. Brock Holt, unbelievable. I'm just thinking of if we missed anything else that we want to talk about until I go to questions. There's one more thing I want to talk to you about: taunting penalties. So today the NFL announced taunting. They're going to be very strict about taunting. So I'm worried about Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill loves to taunt. I mean, this guy does it every game. And before it was fine to taunt, but now it's a penalty if you get penalized twice for it. And taunting is if you go in someone's face, if you spike the ball. They're going to be very strict. It's just not like pointing at somebody and taunting them. No, it's like spiking the ball. There'll be very, very strict rules. And if you do it more than twice in one game, you're disqualified, right? You're gone. You'll be fined. You might be out for the next game. Just depends what you did. So the taunting, you won't see those big elaborate touchdown things anymore. That's taunting. So you're going to see just guys scoring a touchdown and just, I don't know what you do. You just place it on the ground. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But the days of like all the taunting stuff in the end zone when you scored, those are all done. There'll be penalties involved. It can hurt your team drastically. I'm sure coaches will be going ballistic about it. But you know what? Prepare your players. Prepare your players now and tell them not to taunt. It's not that hard. If you score a touchdown, give the ball to the ref. You don't have to run around like an idiot and get a penalty. You know what I mean? Stupidity. I mean, it's unbelievable. So taunting penalties are back in. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my phone so I can look at questions. And because the writing is so small, I'm going to have to use my glasses. So we got questions, a lot of questions here. I hope it's fantasy driven because I love fantasy football. I love giving advice. It's what I do best. This is from some Dr. Casey, unbelievable doctor in Pennsylvania. He's one of the best in the business, actually. Who are the biggest risers and fallers so far this preseason? He's talking about football. So the biggest risers, let's start risers. Let's be positive. I mean, now it's like Aaron Rodgers is playing. Devontae Adams is playing. So those two guys for sure are rising up to the top. Before they were kind of going down because everybody thought they were not going to play. I think Antonio Gibson's a riser for the team of Washington. Almost said it. I didn't. I think Antonio Gibson's going to have a good year. I like him a lot. Some fallers. These are obvious. Michael Thomas of New Orleans, who got hurt. Let's talk about Michael Thomas real quick. Michael Thomas had 140-something receptions 2 years ago. I mean, this guy was unbelievable. Had 140-something receptions, all-pro, the best. Last year, he got hurt. Didn't have a great season. Let's throw it out as COVID year. Who cares? So this year, he got hurt like in December or January, whenever it was. He decides he waits 4 months. He waits not February, not March, not April, not May. He waits till June to get operated on his ankle. I don't know if it was because, I remember Shaq kind of did something similar. Shaq said, I'm not going to rehab on my time. I'm going to rehab on their time. So that all being said, I don't know if he wanted to wait just so he didn't have to rehab during the off season. I don't know the exact thing, but I hope I'm wrong. But if he decided not to get the surgery because he wanted to rehab on his contract time or his NFL time, horrible mistake. Especially no Drew Brees this year. Your quarterback's going to need you as a target. I don't know which quarterback's going to be. Doesn't matter. I think both of them are pretty good. But that being said, I hope I'm wrong. But Michael Thomas, you have gone down tremendously. Cam Akers, he's out for the year. He's failure all the way down. Quarterback wise, there's really nobody like I would say that's failing, but in fantasy football, I'm not going to take a quarterback till at least the 4th or 5th round, unless it's a Superflex league. We'll talk about that very soon. So that's how it's right here. This is what Superflex scores. What round do you start to think about drafting a QB in a non-Superflex league? Do you take a QB in the first round of the Superflex league? That's a great question. So Superflex league, as I just mentioned, it's basically you can use your quarterback in the flex position. So you're starting two quarterbacks, and you should start two quarterbacks in Superflex league unless you're a complete idiot. So in the non-Superflex league, one quarterback, I would wait till the fourth or fifth round to take your quarterback. You want to get one of the elite guys, though. You want to get like the Mahomes, the Allens. You want to get one of those top guys, Rodgers. I mean, you like to, but again, if they go early, don't freak out on me. Just get your running backs, get your stud receiver. If Kelsey's out there, try to get him. But that all being said, in Superflex, a whole different situation. Superflex, if you can get two like top quarterbacks on your team, two top ones in the story, you look at the scoring system, make sure the scoring system, like the quarterbacks have a big chunk of that scoring system, which they usually do. If you can get two top guys giving you those points every week, just pounding it on the other team, it's worth to take a quarterback in the first or second round. I agree 1,000% with you, Casey Scheinfold. I agree. And I think that if you can do it, I would do it. But we'll see. Let me get the next question. Hold on here, Case. So next question is over under for games by Deshaun Watson this season. That's a good question. I was thinking about that today. I mean, he was at practice today. We talked about it earlier. I think Deshaun plays, I say he plays 10 games. I say Houston's going to be horrible this year. And I think they already said he's not going to give any, and all his stuff with the masseuse and all that stuff is not going to happen until February. They take depositions from the girls that accused him in September, and for some reason, they're not taking his deposition until February. Wow, what a coincidence! So he can play the season. I think he's going to play. I mean, they're paying the guy. Might as well play him. They're going to be horrible. I mean, he has Brandon Cooks as his number one receiver. I mean, he lost his whole team. David Johnson's their starting running back, and they have Lindsey too from Denver. They got, but they're going to be bad. But I would not take Deshaun Jackson. That scares me. I would stay away. How much do you consider a player's bye week when drafting? Look, 0.0. I don't look at bye weeks at all until the draft's over. I try to draft the best player possible. I'm not worried about 1 week. I will figure it out. I will make trades. I will pick people up in waiver wire if I need to. But I don't look at all at bye weeks. And I don't think you should either. I think it's a stupid way to look at things. But, again, some people look at that. I don't. I try to get the best player available, and that's what I do, of course. Which rookie QB will have the biggest fantasy impact? Trey Lance, Justin Fields, or Trevor Lawrence? So I mentioned earlier, Trey Lance is not going to be your starting quarterback in San Francisco unless things go terribly wrong in San Francisco. He'll have some packages, and if you draft him, huge mistake. You're not going to. He won't be on your team more than 2 weeks. You'll be waiving him very quickly. So if you can pick him up very late in the draft, like the last round. But he'll have the least impact at all. Justin Fields, total stud. I know he had a transfer so he could start at Ohio State. I know the whole story. But that all being said, I feel that Justin Fields is going to be great in the NFL. He's an accurate passer. He's unbelievable in the NCAA. He'll be great. Trevor Lawrence, I'm worried about Trevor just because the Jacksonville offensive line is not very good, and that kid's going to need protection. They'll be blitzing that kid. They want to scare him drastically, and that scares me for him. He's a stud. I mean, he's right behind me, actually. He's going to be great. I believe he'll have a great season, and he'll be good. But if I had to pick out of those three, Justin Fields. Let me skip around a little bit. I do like these questions, though. Cincinnati might be the most exciting offensive team than Kansas City. Do you agree? Oh, I mean, they have a three-headed dragon there with the receivers. You know, they have Boyd, they have Chase. I mean, they have some great, they have unbelievable receivers there. I don't want to get far ahead of myself, but that division in football, it's the AFC North, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati. I mean, Cleveland and Baltimore will be fighting for the AFC Championship with Kansas City. They're that good. I mean, Baker Mayfield. If you can draft Baker Mayfield in the 8th or 9th round as your starting quarterback, you're doing well. Uh, Baker Mayfield's going to be a great year, especially now they added the play action in Cleveland. The play action with Odell Beckham Jr. Whoo! Big stuff there in Cleveland, guys. And their offensive line, they voted for the best offensive line. For the run, number one, Cleveland. For the pass, number one, Cleveland. So, Nick Chubb fans, if you can get Nick Chubb, it's in the first round late, go get him. It's going to be great. He's going to be terrific. Let's ask some more questions. We got Samuel Jacobowitz. Samuel, I like that. Hey, Sam. Hey guys, I've been gone for a while. Yeah, where were you? Vacation? You can still use your phone. I traded Austin Eckler and Herbert for Kyle Murray and Gibson. So you traded Eckler and Justin Herbert for Kyle Murray and Gibson. So that's an interesting trade. So I feel you got the better part. I like Gibson a lot this year, better than Eckler. I do. I think the team of Washington is going to be really good this year with the running game. And if Gibson can stay healthy, last year he's a rookie, he got hurt, but he'll be back this year. And I just hope that turf toe stays healthy. We'll see what happens there. Kyle Murray, if you look at his fantasy numbers, they're not consistent. I mean, he has games where he'll throw maybe one touchdown, maybe run for one touchdown. But that guy's like a video game. I mean, he runs and runs and runs. The only guy that can run for more yards in the league is Lamar Jackson as quarterback, because he'll get 1,000 yards, Lamar Jackson. And that's why Baltimore had the number one rushing team last year. They were number one, not because they're running backs, because Lamar Jackson. But that all being said, I think he got the better part. I mean, I'm not a big Eckler fan. I feel that Eckler is on a team where they kind of spread it out a little bit, and I don't think he'll be featured every down. I think Gibson will be featured every down. I think Justin Herbert's going to have the sophomore blues. I think he'll be good. I don't think he's going to be like tier guy like Kyle Murray. So you did very well. Good job, Sam Jopowitz. Good job. I don't like drafting defense and the kicker until the last 2 rounds of the draft. What is your strategy? 1,000%. I waive my defenses like every week. I mean, it matters who they play. I mean, I love picking up a new defense every week. I know you're saying, oh, if you can get the Bills defense, that's unbelievable. Doesn't matter. I don't care what defense, if it's the Bills or Pittsburgh or the Rams. I don't care. It's all about matchups for me. I don't waste like an early pick or middle pick on a kicker or a defense. I mean, I like certain kickers in the league I like that won't be drafted, that I'll draft. So for me, a kicker and a defense, I wait till maybe the second to last round, maybe, but it just depends what's going on. But no, don't waste your picks on that. Does Daniel Jones finally amount to something if the Giants' offensive stays healthy? So Daniel Jones, I just read an article about him, and he was hurt last year. I mean, this guy is a tough guy. He had a hamstring issue. He had a lot of stuff going on physically. And instead of like going the IR, which most quarterbacks would, and you know I'm right, he played, and he played pretty well. So this year he's healthy. I feel he's going to have a good year. I like Daniel Jones a lot. Last year he was hurt. So please, this kid, he's fast. I know you've seen him run. He's a very fast quarterback, and he can throw. And I think the Giants with Shaquan coming back, Barkley, he's not going to be playing. He may not even play the first week. The Giants announced that they're not going to rush the kid. I don't blame them. He's like I think he's like 23 years old. He's a very young guy. It's not like he seems like he's old, but he's not. I think Barkley is going to do really well for them this year. He'll be catching balls out of the backfield. He'll be running. It's going to start slowly. I would not draft him in the first round. That's me. I just feel he gets hurt and it just destroys you. But again, there's a lot of Giants fans out there. They'll pick him. Let them deal with him. I'd rather not. But I think Daniel Jones, as a backup quarterback on your team, I don't think that's a bad. He's somebody who's going to play every game. So if he's on your bench and let's say one of your quarterbacks go down or he's doubtful, and you start Daniel Jones against a weak team, or even a strong team, it's not a bad start. I mean, I'd rather pick him than Trey Lance. I mean, Trey Lance is not going to be playing. At least if with Daniel Jones, you know you're going to get a guy that's going to be playing every game. Does that make sense? Capiche? These are great questions. I love these. Hope we have enough time. We have 15 minutes up. So, best sophomore year players. Who disappointed last year? So, sophomore players. As I mentioned, Justin Herbert. He is a sophomore this year. My expectation. I think he'll be good. I don't think he's going to be great. I'm very afraid what he's going to do on the playing field, but we'll see what happens. I mean, some other sophomore. I mean, we'll see what happens. There's a lot of guys out there that. I mean, it's about staying healthy. You know what I mean? It's not about if they can do well. It's just if they can stay healthy and stay clear. And there were a lot of injuries last year with a lot of good players. So I don't want to jinx anybody. I want to say anything bad. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Dark Horse Fantasy MVP. Who's your bold prediction? Is it Chase Edmonds, currently running back 29, can be in the top 15? So Chase Edmonds, Arizona. I mean, I don't know what you do with Chase Edmonds. I wouldn't draft him. He's a backup guy. I mean, he'll do well. He's going to be maybe 10 carries a game. He may catch the ball for some yards too, but I don't see him like being a game changer on your team. You probably won't even start him if you had a good draft. If you start Chase Edmonds on your fantasy team in a 10 or 12 team league, you had a bad draft. You have no idea what you're doing. So Chase Edmonds, not a game changer, but Dark Horse Fantasy MVP. If I had to pick one, I'm going to say Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints. I think the Saints are going to be running the ball a lot more with that Breeze. I see him catching the ball. He'll have like 80 receptions. I see he's going to have a huge year. And the Saints offensive line is good. Really good. Another dark horse, you know, I'll say it. I'm going to say it. I mean, I'm going to say Baker Mayfield. This guy has a lot of confidence now. He had a good year last year. Cleveland, I think, went to the playoffs last year. I mean, he's comfortable. He's having Odell Beckham's coming back, and you know he'll be ready to play, and he's not going to be a baby if he doesn't get the ball this year. So I feel that Odell Beckham with Baker could be MVP. That's a dark horse. I know we got Mahomes. I know we got a whole bunch of other players, that could be MVP, but I'm just giving you my dark horse. I like Baker Mayfield. I don't think it's going to be anybody from Cincinnati at all would be the MVP. I mean, everybody's predicting Cincinnati is going to be good this year. It's just their division is very tough. They're going to have to play those teams twice, each team, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland. That's a tough schedule right there. So it's going to be tough for Cincinnati to win, let's say 8 games or 9 games. We'll see what happens. As you guys know, I'm a big Bengals fan. But I don't think they're the most exciting offensive team like the question asked. I think Kansas City, hands down, with Tyreek Hill and Kelsey and Mahomes, is the most exciting offensive team you can have. Where do you prefer to pick up the draft? Where do you prefer to pick in the draft, beginning, middle, or late? That's a good question. I don't like picking in the first. See, the problem with if it's a snake draft, which we're talking about, so if you pick first, you don't pick again till like the 20. I'm saying 10 teams. You don't pick again till the 20th pick. So I think you lose a lot of talent that way. I mean, let's say you get Christian McCaffrey's your first pick. Okay, he's the consensus number 1 pick this year. And then you don't pick until the 20th pick, which means you're taking probably AJ Brown, or I mean, you're taking somebody, you're taking a first tier guy, but not, it won't be a great running back. Maybe, you lose a lot. So I like to pick like in the middle. If it's 10 teams, if I could pick 4 or 5 or 6, I like that. I kind of like the 10th pick. I like picking 2 picks in a row. I like 10 and 11. I mean, I've won leagues doing that too, because, for some reason, there's always a few guys that like to take quarterbacks early, which I'm not doing this year. I did it last year and it didn't work out that great. So I'm not taking my quarterback 4th or 5th round. I'll wait. There's unbelievable quarterbacks this year. I mean, if I can have Joe Burrow as my starting quarterback, I'll be happy. I mean, I'll be happy starting Joe Burrow every week. That's how I feel about like guys like that. Justin Herbert. There's so many good quarterbacks. I mean, I can go through the top 12 quarterbacks, and I would be happy to get any of those 12 guys. But running back wise, it's not like that. After the 4th or 5th guy, there's a big drop. Let's see if there's any other good questions. I think I answered a lot of them. So we have 9 minutes left. I want to go over with you like a mock draft. People are drafting. People are emailing me. People are calling me and saying, who should I take? Where should I take this player? What should I do in my draft? So I wrote down some ideas. Well, I didn't write ideas. I wrote down like the perfect draft order. I'll do the first 2 rounds because I wrote this down. So if I'm drafting first, I'll give a little preamble for each guy too. You like that, right? If I can draft first, I'm taking Christian McCaffrey. CMC, we call him. CMC, Christian McCaffrey. Just because the receptions, he'll have 100 receptions this year, 100 at least if he's healthy. And I think he's going to stay healthy this year. I don't see him going down again. And he'll have like 100 something yards rushing every game. I mean, the guy's a beast. They have a great offensive line in Carolina too. Don't let like Sam Darnold as your quarterback fool you. He's good. Sam Darnold is not a bad quarterback. He played for the Jets, so give him a little slack. So number 2, I would take Derrick Henry. I know you're saying, oh, you're not taking Delvin Cook. No. Derrick Henry had 2,000 yards last year. He's the featured back in Tennessee, and now Tennessee has Jones as the other receiver from Atlanta that they got. So they can't play 7 in the box. They're going to have to play these guys. They have to play a defense where they're worried about these receivers. They got Brown, they got Jones. I mean, they got unbelievable receivers right now in Tennessee. And Tannehill, another guy. If I get him, Tannehill as your starting quarterback is a great idea too. I mean, gets no press. For some reason, people don't like him. I think it's because when he was in Hard Knocks, he didn't come across as a good guy. But oh well. Second pick, Delvin Cook. 3rd pick, I mean. Alvin Kamara is my 4th pick. 5th pick. Ooh, that's tough. 5th pick. I'm going to go for a receiver. Tyreek Hill is somebody that's just money every week. I mean, this guy scores touchdowns. He'll have 100 yards in the first half. I mean, he's that good. I mean, I think he's way above than any other. Devontae Adams is up there too, but Tyreek Hill I would take after that. The next pick after that, I would probably take Saquon Barkley. I know you're saying I said I didn't like him that much. I feel even though if he doesn't play the first game, he'll be a big feature part of that offense. I think taking him in the first round is not a bad idea. Jonathan Taylor of Indianapolis I like a lot, even though they don't really have a quarterback, but I think he'll be featured a lot. He'll have over 1,000 yards. He'll be good this year. Nick Chubb after that. Devontae Adams I like a lot. I would take him after that. Zeke Elliott. I know he led the league in fumbles last year. I don't know if you guys knew that. He led the league in fumbles. He'll fix that. And if Dak Prescott is healthy, which hopefully he will be, they can't play 7. Another guy can't play 7 in the box. They can't just look at Zeke and know he's getting the ball because that CD and that Cooper, they're all going to be getting the ball. I mean, Prescott was going to have like a 6,000 yard season if he stayed healthy last year. But again, I love Zeke Elliott this year. I think he'll have a comeback year. I think he'll hold on to that football. And I see him. He can even be MVP maybe. And, remember, he's not over 30. He's not an old guy. He's just been playing so long. Everybody thinks he's old. I like Travis Kelce after that. If you take Kelce that early, you have a big advantage on your league. I mean, he is the stud tight end. He goes over that middle. He's not afraid to get hit. And I just feel if you get him in the first round, it's not the end of the world. And you have such a big advantage over all the other teams because you have the tight end that's going to score a touchdown 100 yards almost every game. Aaron Jones, I'd like him after that. I think Aaron Jones with Aaron Rodgers is a great combination. Both Aarons, it's my middle name. But I feel Aaron Jones is going to have a good year this year. He'll have over 1,000 yards. He'll have like 60 receptions. He'll have a bunch of touchdowns. Aaron Jones is a very good pickup. And then let's go into the second round. I'm starting with Austin Eckler for the Chargers. I think Austin will have a good year. I said he's not going to be featured. He's not going to be out there the whole time. They'll bring other running backs in, just give him a rest. I like Joe Mixon of the Bengals after that. I like him a lot. They got rid of Bernard, who was their second string running back. He's no longer with the Bengals. They never picked up anybody else. So I feel that the Bengals are going to use Mixon until in first down, second down, third down, short yardage, whatever it is, Mixon will be out there. So having Joe Mixon on our team is a good idea. I think he'll have a bounce year. He'll do well this year. I like the rookie after that, like G. Harris. He is from Alabama. He is the featured back in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh loves to run the ball. As we know, Ben Roethlisberger's getting older. His arm's getting a little lengthy, little weaker. I mean, he's missing people out there. And like G. Harris, he's somebody that no one talks about, but he can catch. I mean, Alabama, he was catching like one-hand catches like this. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, this guy's the real deal. I mean, no one talks about his receptions, but he can catch. I love Stephon Diggs for Buffalo. He's right after Harris. I would take Diggs. I feel Diggs is going to have a big year in Buffalo. We'll see what happens. But A.J. Brown in Tennessee. After that, I like this kid, Justin Jefferson, went to LSU. He's a sophomore. I don't feel he'll be a slumping guy. I think he'll be picking it up again like he did last year. Justin Jefferson is somebody in high school was a 0-star recruit. 0 stars, which means no one wanted you. No one wanted you. You weren't good enough. And he ended up being like, he got drafted in the first. I mean, this guy is it's a great story. I mean, he got drafted in the first round with LSU, won the national championship, blah, blah, blah. So Justin Jefferson, I love this guy from Minnesota. I want him on my team. Hopefully I can grab him. Don't tell anybody else. Now, I was going to say DeAndre Hopkins. I haven't written down. I'm worried about DeAndre. He's another guy that's a no-vaxxer. And they said that if he gets the vaccine, if he doesn't get the vaccine, he won't. He's like threatening not to play. He says, "I have to get the vaccine. I'm not playing football because I don't want to hurt my team." So I don't know if he's playing, but if he does play, I would take him right there. Calvin Ridley, love him. Atlanta, Matt Ryan's going to have a good year, even though he wasn't that great last year. DK Metcalf, Russell Wilson. It's going to be weird in Seattle this year. Russell Wilson wanted out, supposedly. He told his agent, "These are the teams I'll waive my no trade clause to," and he mentioned the teams. But then he comes back and says, "Oh no, I was just telling my agent what teams I wanted." I said, "Yeah, right. So it's public information that you wanted to go to Denver or whatever team it was." He wanted out. He was upset that he didn't get to talk about like who gets drafted where, player decisions. He thought he should be involved in everything. He's not going to be involved in that stuff. It's none of your business. You get paid to play quarterback, not to play GM. Sit down and play. So DK Metcalf, I love a lot. And then I love Keenan Allen of the Chargers. I think he's somebody that gets no respect in fantasy. I had him last year. He was money for me last year. He's always solid. He's a great number one receiver. And I feel if Herbert's like half himself last year, he'll still get Allen the ball. So that being said, and then another person that I think you should talk about is Antonio Gibson. I would love to draft him late second round. Antonio Gibson is somebody late second round, early third round. If I can grab him, I will. I feel he'll be a top 5 running back this year. Top 5. He's that good. And the Washington line is really good. I mean, they're not as good as back in the days when they had the Hogs, like Rusky Grimm and Joe Jacoby and those guys. But their line's going to be good this year. That Tony Gibson will have 1,200 yards and probably 10 to 12 touchdowns. I mean, he's going to have a good year to stay healthy. I hope that turf toe's better. The turf toe is a horrible injury, and I don't wish that on anybody, but I just hope he is ready to roll, and we'll find out very soon if he is. This, and again, I know I missed some people. That's the whole thing. But again, make sure when you draft, make sure you take Michael Thomas out. Make sure you take Cam Akers out. I've been seeing a lot of drafts also. Kareem Hunt, the backup for Cleveland, he's been going like in the 4th or 5th round. I mean, I know he's good, but if there's a starting running back that's out there, like let's say Swift of Detroit, or somebody like that, or Jacobs of Vegas, if you can grab him before Hunt, that's what I would do. I mean, Hunt's been going way too early again, he's not, he'll play about 30% of the time, and then Chubb will play 70%, and Chubb will get the ball a lot when it's big situations. So again, we have a live draft coming up in August, which you guys can watch. And it's myself, and Casey Scheinfeld, who's one of the biggest experts in football, and Dr. Dan Ratner, who's unbelievable in football. And we got a bunch of listeners and watchers that are in the league too, that are unbelievable players, accomplished fantasy players, unbelievable. So we have this live event going on. I believe it's August 19th. Look it up on our website or on the YouTube page. It's already posted. But we're doing this live event. It's going to be great. I hope everybody can watch. It's at night, so after work you can watch it. You know what I mean? No excuses. Oh, I'm at work. I can't. No, you can watch it. But I think, let me just see what else. Let's see if we've got any more new questions I can answer quickly. I don't have any new questions. So until next time, I'm Ross the Boss, and I love talking sports with you, cowboy.
Oh, yeah. From Kill Cliff, the #1 clean energy drink in the mind of Joe Rogan, comes the Flamin' Joe. Sugar-free, B vitamins, electrolytes, all them good drink things. An epic spicy pineapple fusion from out of this world, straight into your drink hole. Own it. Kill